All right, we're cutting live straight across to the Central Hall of Parliament, where that function to mark the farewell of the 13th President of India, Pranab Mukherjee, is all set to begin in moments from now.
संसद का ये केंद्रीय कक्ष ही नहीं बल्कि पूरा देश सुनेगा लोकसभा टेलीविजन की इस विशेष प्रस्तुति के माध्यम से।
सर, अब एक चीज है कि ये भी समझने वाली हो सकती है कि जब राष्ट्रपति पद पर आते हैं और जो उनका कार्यकाल होता है तो उसमें अमूमन फांसी की सजा और जो दया याचिकाएं होती हैं वो लंबित होती हैं। लेकिन हमने देखा खासकर आतंकवाद के मुद्दे पर राष्ट्रपति प्रणब मुखर्जी ने आतंकवादियों को फांसी की सजा देने में कतई देरी नहीं की, चाहे बात याकूब मेमन की हो, अफजल गुरु की फांसी की बात हो। आपको लगता है कि एक स्पष्टवादिता रही उनके नेतृत्व में, जो निर्णय उन्हें लेना है, जो अधिकार उनके पास है, जो संवैधानिक अधिकार है, उस पर वो खरा उतरे हैं?
वो प्रणब मुखर्जी
So you can see, of course, visuals coming in from the Central Hall of Parliament, where MPs cutting across party lines have gathered there to give a farewell to the outgoing President Pranab Mukherjee. Remember, this farewell, of course, comes 2 days before his term ends. The new President-elect Ramnath Kovind will be sworn in at a grand ceremony on the 25th of July. Remember, late last evening as well, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, had hosted a special farewell dinner for the outgoing President Pranab Mukherjee, and now, of course, he is being given a special farewell at Central Hall in Parliament. A grand ceremony is currently all set to begin, with a farewell planned by MPs cutting across party lines to the outgoing 13th President of India, Pranab Mukherjee. You can see there dignitaries waiting for the President to arrive at Central Hall. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President Hamid Ansari, Speaker of the Lok Sabha Sumitra Mahajan, and Senior Ministers Anand Kumar, all waiting there for the President Pranab Mukherjee. Remember, he was given a farewell dinner last evening by the Prime Minister, and today, of course, MPs from across party lines have gathered at Central Hall to pay tribute to his tenure and also, of course, give him a farewell 2 days before he demits office. Remember, the new President-elect Ramnath Kovind will be sworn in on the 25th of July. So these, of course, are the visuals coming in. And let's quickly get in our special guests on the broadcast. Senior Executive Editor of NewsX, Priya Sehgal, is joining us in our studios. Senior journalist Kalyani Shankar is also live with us. If I can begin with you first, Ms. Shankar, your thoughts on this auspicious day. It's truly a ceremonial, of course, and grand, as all things to do with the President are. Yesterday, he was given a farewell by the PM Modi. Today, of course, we're seeing MPs gather at Central Hall to bid him farewell.
Well, the rain god has blessed him by pouring. There's so much rain today, I tell you. And, you know, this is one of the normal things, I would say. I don't find anything special in today's, farewell thing. This is what every other president gets. And then, of course, he is also the, for both the houses, he is the head of the government, so in a way. So it's only fitting that they give him a good farewell. And he has been a good president for them all these 5 years. There have been no controversies, maybe except 1 or 2 on this Uttarakhand and Arunachal. Otherwise, I think he has managed to do very well with the executive and also personal rapport with the Prime Minister. For a congressman and who was a leftist all his life, for him to gel with a rightist Prime Minister is amazing. So I think it's going to be a good farewell for him, and I'm sure he would also enjoy it.
Absolutely, and that perhaps the gelling between the two has led to the Prime Minister shower him with praise. In the last few weeks, we have seen the Prime Minister
called him his father.
Absolutely, speaking very highly of Pranab Mukherjee, get emotional at that moment as well. Before I also come to Priya on the broadcast, I quickly want to cut across to Parliament, where Senior Editor Brijesh Pandey is joining us from. Brijesh, what are the visuals you're seeing in front of you? Rain, of course, playing a bit truant, delaying proceedings. What are we expecting this evening?
Well, rain has definitely played truant, and what the official mail which was that the President Pranab Mukherjee
this evening.
Well, rain has definitely played truant, and what the official mail which was that the President Pranab Mukherjee was to leave the presidential house at 5:27, and he was supposed to reach at the Central Hall of Parliament at 5:30. But I think the program has been delayed somewhat because of rain. We can see Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Vice President, and apart from Vice President, Lok Sabha Speaker as well as Secretary General, all waiting there, standing there and waiting for the current President Pranab Mukherjee. I think it gets in another 2 to 3 minutes, we might see the cavalcade of President Pranab Mukherjee starting from the President's house and going inside the Parliament, where from there he will go to Central Hall, and where he will be given a warm send off. Vice President as well as Lok Sabha Speaker are supposed to speak before the President, and the whole program is 1 hour 15 minutes long. Okay?
Okay, so of course, as Brijesh was pointing out, that entire program expected to last for 1 hour and 15 minutes. We are expecting the Vice President to address that gathering there, and then the Speaker, Lok Sabha, Sumitra Mahajan, who you can see on your screens, will also address the gathering, which will be followed, of course, by a closing and farewell speech by the President of India. Before, of course, we get to his tenure and his rapport with Prime Minister Modi, just speaking about this ceremony, Priya, of course, all ceremonies associated with the President are quite grand, and we can expect that cavalcade to be shortly entering that Vijay Chowk area, flanked by the President's bodyguard. A very grand ceremony. Anything to do with the President is quite grand, isn't it?
Now, there are two things here. One, of course, is the nature of the office. As you said, anything to do with the president is grand. But also the nature of the man. This is Pranab Mukherjee, a veteran parliamentarian. He's been there, I think, for about nearly 5 decades of active political life. And even when he was not anything, there's the nature of the office, where he was the number 2 in Manmohan Singh's government. But it was Pranab Mukherjee who was running the whole show. UPA was run by Pranab Mukherjee. He was the troubleshooter. He was the de facto man pulling all the strings. Even now, if you look at the cross-party goodwill he has, the Prime Minister was choking up, calling him, saying he's been like a father. I think a lot of people feel he's been like a father to them, cutting across party lines. He's on good terms with Sharad Pawar, with Farooq Abdullah, with Nitish Kumar. He's on, he's got this cross-party goodwill that he's built up. That's why I guess today's ceremony is not just for the office of the President, but also for the man himself. This is really the end of an era. Though, of course, one can never put a full stop as far as Pranab Mukherjee is concerned. So, a semicolon, I would say.
Absolutely. Just talking quickly about the Prime Minister's relationship with him. He was, at the end of the day, Kalyani Shankar, a congressman. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi did strike a rapport with him. And that, of course, led to him finally to come out with glowing praise in the last few weeks. As you said, at an occasion, he choked up, calling him his father. He also, on the day GST was launched, recognized his efforts in also playing a crucial part in how the bill came to be finally.
Well, you see, if you look back at the 5-year term of Pranab Mukherjee, fortunately for him, he didn't have to take any decision, difficult decision during his 5-year tenure. Had BJP not got a majority by itself, and if there was a coalition government, Pranab Mukherjee would have had a role to play. Fortunately for him, it did not happen. He himself admitted some time ago, the editors Gilby met him. That time he was saying it was not very challenging decisions he had to make. And whatever the two things which somebody asked him about this Arunachal and Uttarakhand, he said whatever he had to say, he's recorded in the file. So he is very confident and very conscious about his role and what he had to do. And of course, he is going to write his own book, so maybe you will see whatever.
Yeah,
but he will not reveal any secret. But then, of course, he will be a little more open about his tenure.
Indeed, that perhaps is the only question mark which his critics would raise on his tenure, Priya, the hurriedness with which he took those decisions related to Arunachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, which was struck down later.
Exactly, and that was, something rather surprising. In fact, if I would say there's one question mark on his tenure, it would be these two decisions. And very unlike Pranab Mukherjee, I thought he would question them further, probe the matter further, especially Uttarakhand, and in fact Arunachal, both have been later on turned down by the court. Uttarakhand has, and Arunachal, the government fell. So in that sense, his taking those two decisions are a question mark that he will have to explain in an otherwise, I would say, unblemished tenure. He's been like a father figure. He's also played ball with the government more or less, like demonetization. Initially, I remember he was not very, he was a bit critical of it, but later on he went on to praise it. He's been, supportive of the government in that sense. In terms of communal, the violence, this whole award wapsi and this whole, the polarization that took place. Intolerance debate, exactly, intolerance debate. He has, even raised that in his comments. So it's not that he's been blindly supportive. He has raised questions, except in these two instances.
But Uday, I just want to add to what she's saying. He did not hesitate to speak his mind. Whenever time, I mean, intolerance particularly. I remember National Herald function. He was presiding over that function. And he was quite candid about what he felt. And of course, it may be at the end of the term, but then he was open in his
No, at the Ramnath Goenka function, when he told the media, you should not just, learn to question, be more critical. But that was after this government refused to give him an extension or give him a president. So let's put that in perspective.
You got it.
It was when he knew the decision. In fact, let's quickly show our viewers. Those are the visuals, of course, coming in from Vijay Chowk area. That is the President's cavalcade, which is now reaching the Parliament premises. The President's official car, flanked by security escort, has entered now the Parliament premises. That is the cavalcade of the President, which has now reached Vijay Chowk and entered the main gate of the Parliament complex. There we can, of course, expect President Pranab Mukherjee to reach that exact spot outside Central Hall any moment now, where the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Vice President of India Hamid Ansari, and the Lok Sabha Speaker Sumitra Mahajan are waiting for him. Remember, MPs cutting across party lines have already gathered at Central Hall, and we are expecting that function to begin any moment now. You can see there, rain, of course, has played truant. The weather gods have been showering their blessings, some would say, on the President Pranab Mukherjee, as he, of course, gets set to demit office in just a couple of days from now. So there are those visuals, of course, that we're expecting the President to reach that spot where the Prime Minister is, of course, waiting for him. Any sort of message, perhaps, that we are expecting, Priya, even as we tell our viewers that these are the visuals, these are live visuals now, President Pranab Mukherjee arriving there.
Your Prime Minister greeting him.
Yes, Anand Kumar, of course, greeting him with the customary rose. And there you can see Narendra Modi, who gave him a farewell dinner, also greet him. Any particular message, Kalyani Shankar and Priya Sehgal, that you are expecting the President to touch upon in this farewell speech today?
I have a feeling that he might talk about his 5 years, and also he might give some kind of advice to the parliamentarians. After all, as Priya said, he's one of the top parliamentarians, and he's won awards also. And he has got a fantastic elephantine memory. You ask him about anything at any time, 52 to till today, what happened in Parliament, he can tell you. So his advice would be very, very valuable, particularly for the youngsters who have not been able to even debate in the House, because House is quite often disrupted. So it will be of great value to the youngsters, and I think he might talk about that. And I don't believe he would talk about intolerance now, because PM himself has said, after he spoke twice, PM himself had come out about this cow vigilante groups, all that. So I don't think that he might talk about
Maybe
that.
not intolerance, but definitely a message. I
Message,
think he
of
is
course,
going
he
to
will
send a message. It won't just be, giving this is his farewell speech. This is his most important speech, the last most important speech of his life, as of now. I don't know what his future plans are, but as of now, so he's going to hold the stage, and he knows how to hold the stage. In the last 2-3 months, I've seen, whether it's an Indira Gandhi award function, he's been, reaching out, every speech of his, or whether it's even at a inconsequential book launch, he has been speaking, and he's been saying something that is larger than the occasion. He's been trying to take the occasion forward and trying to own the moment. So I would see him trying to do something of that sort right now.
And he constantly touches back upon his vivid memories and the lessons he has learnt
always.
His,
that's the nature of the man. Even when he was finance minister, he used to always say he wanted the desk that the first finance minister had. He wants to touch with the past.
His people were telling me the other day, after this National Herald function, he just kept out the written speech. He started speaking extempore. So I think he likes to talk extempore, and he doesn't need any notes. You see, after all, he's got a memory of his own. He's a computer, mini computer. So he can do very well.
And you constantly see him also taking notes not of course referring to the speech, but the prepared speech, to add various points on the basis of which other speakers preceding him, say. So we can expect that today as well. Remember, the Vice President and the Speaker will be preceding Pranab Mukherjee in his address today at Central Hall, even as we see these visuals of...
It's a ceremonial way of bringing him in, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
It's following the protocol,
Yeah, they're following the protocol, of course. It is, remember, the last 48 hours of President Pranab Mukherjee in office.
माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति एवं सभापति राज्यसभा से अनुरोध है कि वे माननीय राष्ट्रपति का माला पहनाकर स्वागत करें। माननीय लोकसभा अध्यक्ष से अनुरोध है कि वह माननीय राष्ट्रपति को पुष्पगुच्छ भेंट करें। माननीय लोकसभा अध्यक्ष से अनुरोध है कि वह माननीय राष्ट्रपति के सम्मान में विदाई भाषण प्रस्तुत करें।
माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी, माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति जी, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी, सभी मंत्रीगण, संसद के दोनों सदनों के हमारे साथी, आप सबके माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी के प्रति हम सबकी भावों की अभिव्यक्ति करने वाला एक सम्मान पत्र मैं अब पढ़ना चाहूंगी। आदरणीय राष्ट्रपति श्री प्रणब मुखर्जी, we the parliamentarians have assembled here today to bid you a fond farewell on the eve of your demitting the august office of the President of the Republic of India, which you have adorned the last 5 years with great distinction and dignity. This is indeed a solemn occasion for each one of us to express our profound respect and regards to you. Honorable President, your life's journey from the humble village of Mirati in West Bengal to Rashtrapati Bhavan is indeed an eventful one, entwined with contemporary history of our nation and an inspiration to all. Beginning professional career as a college teacher, then journalist, and subsequently dedicating the longest period of your life to national politics, culminating in being elected as the President, you have always strived for excellence and selfless service. Your achievements as a political leader, parliamentarian, administrator, author, and visionary thinker are a grand testimony of your multifaceted personality. Mahoday, ever since you first entered the Parliament in 1969, you have enriched and strengthened our parliamentary democracy with varied expertise, vast contribution, and great wisdom. You have always held the institution of Parliament and its traditions in the highest regard and upheld the dignity and decorum of both the houses. Sagacious and yet courteous to friends and political opponents alike, you have earned the respect of all with your discerning persuasive skills, intellectual far-sightedness, and unwavering commitment to the basic tenets of parliamentary democracy and political pluralism. You are respected for your impeccable knowledge of constitutional and parliamentary rules and procedures, and exemplary memory of events and precedents. You have been a guru from whom generations of parliamentarians have received lessons on the operational dynamics of our parliamentary polity. You very aptly, the parliamentary fraternity conferred the Outstanding Parliamentarian Award on you for the year 1997. Your admirable administrative acumen and efficiency have played pivotal role in shaping appropriate responses to various momentous events and challenges before the nation at large. As Union Cabinet Minister, holding key portfolios and also occupying crucial decision-making positions, your rich contributions in laying down policies leading to the progress of this nation will be remembered and cherished for times to come. Your astute diplomatic skills have served the nation well, whether as a minister handling the responsibility of external affairs or serving on the board of governance of international and multilateral financial institutions. A grateful nation has conferred the second highest civilian award to you, the Padma Vibhushan, in 2008. You have deservingly received acclaims from the people at home and abroad and earned numerous honors from universities far and wide in recognition of your contributions. With your thoughtfulness and wisdom, you brought dignity and respect to the august office of the President, which gained new prominence as political leaders of all hue and affiliations sought your guidance on crucial matters affecting the nation. Rashtrapati Ji, you have brought presidential focus on the centrality of education for human development and the imperative of research and development to create a knowledge society, and also for raising the quality of higher education and promoting excellence in our country. Your extraordinary contribution also extends to democratizing the Rashtrapati Bhavan through multiple programs, innovative initiatives, and opening its gates to welcome common man from across the country. Besides discharging your constitutional responsibilities with dignity and grace, you have effectively articulated the concerns before the nation. You have stressed the centrality of Parliament in our democratic polity and expressed your concerns about the increasing incidence of disruptions in the legislatures. Your presidency has brought to the fore the most significant responsibility of the highest constitutional office of preserving, protecting and defending the Constitution and the law as affirmed in your oath of office. Sir, our country remains firmly on track as the fastest growing large economy in the world. We assure you that it will be our solemn duty to fulfill the unfinished missions and your vision of a developed India. We are sure that you will continue to guide the footsteps of this nation as an elder statesman and inspire us as you have done all through your illustrious life. In the end, I would like to conclude with the words of Honorable President, which are very significant and relevant. I quote, "We are all equal children before our mother, and India asks each one of us, in whatsoever role we play in the complex drama of nation building, to do our duty with integrity, commitment, and unflinching loyalty to the values enshrined in our Constitution." Unquote. Rashtrapati ji, we wish you a long and healthy life. We remain, sir, yours respectively, members of Parliament from both the houses. Parliament. Thank you.
सम्माननीय लोकसभा अध्यक्ष से निवेदन है कि वह राष्ट्रपति जी को विदाई भाषण भेंट करें।
ये ऊपर जाएगा।
सम्माननीय उपराष्ट्रपति एवं सभापति राज्यसभा से अनुरोध है कि वे प्रतिष्ठित अतिथिगण को संबोधित करें।
Respected Rashtrapati ji, Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Speaker Lok Sabha, Honorable Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, Secretary General Rajya Sabha, Secretary General Lok Sabha, ladies and gentlemen. Rashtrapati Pranab Mukherjee, or Pranab Da as he is affectionately known, has had a long and distinguished career in public life. For the past 5 years, he adorned the highest office in the land, bringing to it great distinction and dignity. His contributions in enriching our national life, parliamentary institutions and political discourse are highly regarded, along with his unshakable belief in the idea of India. In his parliamentary avatar, Shri Mukherjee strove to raise the level of debates and discussions in Parliament by erudite articulation on issues of public importance. His parliamentary performance earned him the Outstanding Parliamentarian Award for the year 1997. He once famously remarked, and I quote, "Democracy should comprise of 3 Ds, debate, dissent and decision, not the 4th D, disruption." End of quote. This assumes much significance in our present troubled times. No tribute to Shri Mukherjee can be complete without a reference to his role in the governance of the country. He held important ministerial charges in government and played a significant role in shaping the policies for progress and inclusive development over the years. In representing India on international fora, he was the consummate diplomat. His expertise in economic and financial matters similarly have been much sought after. He was rated one of the best finance ministers of the world for the year 1984 and was declared Finance Minister of the Year for Asia in 2010. In his long career, he has been an astute administrator and consensus builder in various capacities. In recognition of his valuable services, a grateful nation conferred on him the Padma Vibhushan in the year 2008. Shri Mukherjee combines the qualities of an erudite scholar with those of a seasoned politician. His views and pronouncements on issues of national and international importance have enhanced the stature of the high office held by him. From the highest pedestal he has, on several occasions, urged citizens to rededicate themselves to the cause of upholding the democratic values. He has spoken with conviction about India's pluralism and diversity being her greatest strength, and the need to constantly nurture and protect them. As he put it, and I quote him, "Our traditions has always celebrated the argumentative Indian, not the intolerant Indian. Multiple views, thoughts and philosophies have competed with each other peacefully for centuries in our country." End of quote. In a farewell dinner for governors and lieutenant governors last week, President Mukherjee spoke about the constitutional design by which there cannot be two functional executive authorities in a state, and the governor's role, therefore, is mainly confined to giving advice to chief ministers. He added that in certain situations, the governor has no discretion but to accept the verdict of the floor test. He advised the governors to implement diligently their constitutional responsibilities in regard to the scheduled tribe areas in the states. Shri Mukherjee's rich political legacy holds valuable lessons for us and will guide a future generation in public life. Today, as we bid farewell to Rashtrapati Ji, I wish him good health and long life. Jai Hind.
माननीय लोकसभा अध्यक्ष से अनुरोध है कि वे संसद सदस्यों की ओर से माननीय राष्ट्रपति को स्मृति चिन्ह भेंट करें।
जी
माननीय लोकसभा अध्यक्ष से अनुरोध है कि माननीय राष्ट्रपति को संसद सदस्यों द्वारा हस्ताक्षरित पुस्तिका भेंट करें।
complete record. This is really very prize. Thank you. Thank you.
माननीय राष्ट्रपति जी से अनुरोध है कि गणमान्य व्यक्तियों तथा प्रतिष्ठित अतिथिगण को संबोधित करें।
Honorable Vice President, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Prime Minister, distinguished members of the Council of Ministers, leaders of various political parties, I would like to gratefully acknowledge and appreciate for organizing this warm farewell to me. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Chairman. Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Chairman. Thank you, Honorable Members of both the Houses. Honorable Members, if I claim I am the creation of this Parliament, perhaps it will not be treated as immodesty. This Parliament created as an individual my political outlook and persona, which has been shaped by this temple of democracy. Bear with me if I feel nostalgic and indulge myself by going back to the past. On 26 January 1950, the Constitution of India came into effect. In a remarkable display of idealism and courage, we, the people of India, gave to ourselves a sovereign democratic republic to secure to all its citizens justice, liberty, and equality. We undertook to promote amongst all citizens fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and ensuring the unity of the nation. These ideals became the lodestar of modern Indian state. The Indian Constitution, consisting of 395 articles and 12 schedules, is not merely a legal document for the administration, but the Magna Carta of a socio-economic transformation of a vast multitude of people living in India. It represents the hopes and aspirations of 1 billion+ people. 68 years ago, after the first general election, the Indian Parliament began its journey representing the sovereign will of its people. Both the houses were constituted. The first President of the Republic was elected, who addressed the first joint session of the Parliament, and the Indian parliamentary system rolled out. Honorable members, when I first entered the portals of this hallowed institution 48 years ago, I was 34 years old. In July 1969, I came to the Parliament as a member of Rajya Sabha, representing one of the 6 seats from the state of West Bengal. My election to Rajya Sabha took place on 4th July, and the first session I attended was 22nd July 1969. Honorable members, since then, for the last 37 years, I served As a member of Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha, of these I served 5 terms as member of the Raj Sabha, 4 times being elected from West Bengal and 1 time from Gujarat. And 2 terms in Lok Sabha. My long career has been instructive and educative. I entered Parliament at a time when the Rajya Sabha was full of experienced parliamentarians, leaders of the freedom movement, many of whom were brilliant speakers. M.C. Chagla, Ajit Prasad Jain, Jairam Das Daulatram, Bhupesh Gupta, Joaquim Alva, Mohabir Tyagi, Rajnaran, Dr. Bhai Mohabir, Loknath Mishra, Chitto Basu, and many others. In fact, Bhupesh Gupta was truly a legend in the Rajya Sabha. From 1952 till his death, 1981, he was the member of Rajya Sabha. Dayabhai Patel and Monibal Patel, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's son and daughter, represented Swatantra Party in the Parliament. My years in Parliament were further enriched by the wisdom of P.V. Narasimha Rao, oration of Atal Bihari Vajpayee, cryptic one-liners of Musulimai and Dr. Nathpai, wit and humor of Piru Modi, poetic discourses of Professor Hiren Mukherjee, a razor-sharp repartee of Indrajit Gupta, coming presence of Dr. Manmohan Singh, mature advice of L.K. Advani, and passionate support of Sonia Gandhi for social legislations. Fellow members, my career as a parliamentarian was no doubt mentored by Srimati Indira Gandhi. Her steely determination, clarity of thought, and decisive actions made her a towering personality. She never hesitated to call a spade a spade. I remember after the defeat of Congress and herself in the post-emergency election, we had gone to London in November 1978. A large number of media persons in a fairly aggressive mood were waiting to ask Srimati Gandhi questions. The first question that was flung at her was, I quote, "What have been your gains from the emergency?" Unquote. Looking at the journalist squarely in the eye, in a level voice, Indira Gandhi replied, "In those 21 months, we comprehensively managed to alienate all sections of Indian people." There was a broad silence for a moment, followed by huge laughter, and thereafter there was no question in the waiting room of Heathrow Airport, and the media persons just melted away. And I also learned an early lesson of acknowledging my mistakes and rectifying them. Self-correction in such situation is always a better option than self-justification. Honorable members, in those days, both houses of the Parliament used to reverberate with animated discussions and illuminative and exhaustive debates on social and financial legislations. Listening to the stalwarts for hours and days in Parliament sitting in the treasury or opposition benches, I felt one with the soul of this living institution, understood the real value of debate, discussion, and dissent. I realized how disruption hurts the opposition more than the government, as it denies them the opportunity to raise the concerns of the people. I internalized the sense of what Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had said, and I quote, "There has always to be a balancing of change and continuity. The system of parliamentary democracy, continuity. The system of parliamentary democracy embodies these principles of change and continuity, and it is up to those who functions in this system, members of the House and the numerous others who are part of this system, to increase the pace of change, to make it as fast as they like, subject to the principle of continuity. If continuity is broken, we become rootless and the system of parliamentary democracy breaks down." Unquote. Honourable members, I experienced the joy of the enactment of pro-poor and pro-farmer legislations. The recent passage of goods and service tax and its launch on 1st July is a shining example of cooperative federalism and speaks volumes for the maturity of Indian Parliament. To be a part of this system is a unique experience, and I am grateful to the people of this great country for giving me this opportunity. I had the privilege of being a witness and a participant in the unfolding scenario of emergence of a great India, an India where 130 crore people belonging to three major ethnic groups, Aryans, Dravidians, Mongolites, practicing 7 major religions and 122 languages in the daily lives, live yet under one constitution, one flag, and one administrative system. Honourable members, not a single part of this vast territory of 3.3 million square kilometers of landmass and islands is unrepresented in the Parliament. 543 persons from 543 territorial constituencies of this country, representing the people in Lok Sabha, and 245 persons elected by 29 states and union territories, including 12 nominated members by President, make laws, scrutinize orders of the executive, and enforce accountability to protect the interests of the people. Each of these 790 voices is important. It is unfortunate that parliamentary time devoted to legislations has been declining. With the heightened complexity of administration, legislation must be preceded by scrutiny and adequate discussion. Scrutiny in committee is no substitute to open discussion on the floor of the House. When the Parliament fails to discharge its lawmaking role or enacts laws without a discussion, I feel it breaches the trust reposed in it by the people of this great country. Through the instrument of ordinance, the executive has been vested with extraordinary powers to make laws to meet exigencies during a time when Parliament is not in session. However, such ordinances have to be approved by Parliament within 6 weeks from the next session of the Parliament. I am firm in the opinion that the ordinance route should be used only in compelling circumstances, and there should be no recourse to ordinance on monetary matters. Ordinance routes should not be taken on matters which are being considered or have been introduced in the House or a committee of the House. If a matter is deemed urgent, the concerned committee should be made aware of the situation and should be mandated to present its report within the stipulated time. Honourable members, it was in July 2012 again, my membership in Lok Sabha came to an end when I was declared elected as the 13th President of the Republic on 22nd of that month. Even though 37 years of my life in Parliament came to an end on that day, but still I continued to have a tenacious link with the institution. In fact, I became an integral part of it as President of the Republic. As per Constitution, Article 79 of the Constitution says, there shall be a President for the Union which shall consist of the President and the two Houses to be known respectively as the Council of States and the House of People. In these 5 years, my principal responsibility was to function as the guardian of the Constitution. As I had said on oath, I strived to preserve, protect and defend our Constitution, not just in word, but also in spirit. In this task, I greatly benefited from the advice and cooperation extended by Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi at every step. With passion and energy, he is driving transformational changes in the country. I will carry with me fond memories of our association and his warm and courteous behavior to me. As I retire from the office of the President of the Republic, my association with the Parliament also comes to an end. I will no longer be a part of the Parliament of India. It will be with a tinge of sadness and a rainbow of memories that I will be leaving this magnificent building today. Honourable members, with a sense of gratitude and a prayer in my heart, I take leave of you. I leave with a sense of fulfillment and happiness of having served the people of this great country through this institution as their humble servant. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.
माननीय गणमान्य व्यक्ति तथा प्रतिष्ठित अतिथिगण कृपया राष्ट्रगान के लिए खड़े हों। माननीय गणमान्य व्यक्ति चाय पान के लिए प्रांगण संख्या 9 की ओर प्रस्थान करें।